it comes to My Little Pony, you're always wanting to come back for more. Just one episode or one movie isn't enough, and it leaves you itching for another. Especially when it comes to Equestria Girls, I was just itching to get past Rainbow Rocks, and then I made it past Friendship Games, and my god, we need to get back into this.
All right, every pony. Sorry, force a habit.
We're jumping from 2009 to 2013 here. Even though Friendship is Magic premiered on the Hub on October 10th, 2010, there really weren't any Friendship is Magic era movies prior to Equestria Girls' release. Unless you consider Princess Cadence's two-part wedding special with This Day Aria and a Canterlot Wedding to be a movie, but it's a two-part episode, so I'm not adding it before Equestria Girls, sorry. That being said, This Day Aria has went triple platinum on my Spotify for like years at this point, so I wasn't a My Little Pony kid till I was around 11, because when you're a little girl with a millennial mother growing up in the early 2000s, you get pinned with one of 4 interests. And you're stuck with these interests for the rest of your life. It's either My Little Pony, Strawberry Shortcake, Rainbow Bright, or Care Bears, and I was indoctrinated into the Care Bears dynasty, okay? So at 11 years old, when I started watching My Little Pony, it wasn't a huge problem, but then Equestria Girls came out, and let's just say me and Funshine Bear, we got court next week. So we're starting off here in Equestria with Twilight and the rest of the main 6 pulling up to Princess Celestia's castle for Twilight's first princess summon. So Twilight is in her room with Spike, freaking out about the meeting because she thinks that Princess Celestia is gonna give her a kingdom to rule over, just like Princess Cadence. In the night while everyone's sleeping, a pony breaks into the castle and steals Twilight Sparkle's crown and replaces it with a fake one. So obviously she gets caught, and then Twilight and the rest of the main 6 chase her into this mirror where she disappears. In the morning, Princess Celestia reveals that pony was none other than Sunset Shimmer, a former student of Celestia's who turned bitter and cruel after not reaching her potential as fast as she liked. Luna then explains that this mirror only opens once every 30 moons, and Twilight has to go in after her to learn more about this world beyond the mirror. Also, without Twilight's crown, the other elements of Harmony have no power, leaving Equestria without literally their only defense because Princess Celestia and Luna don't do shit, and it's always the main 6 who do everything. With the power of friendship, because then the rest of the main 6 are like, we're gonna go in there too. We're not letting Twilight go by herself. But Celestia was like, you're gonna mess up the balance of the world and like die or something, so you gotta stay here. Also, after 3 days, the gate's gonna close, so if Twilight doesn't come back after 3 days, then she has to stay in this other world for 30 more moons. So Twilight steps into this mirror and goes into another world. But Spike also follows her, so they come out of the other side, and Twilight is a human, and Spike is a dog. Twilight is freaking the fuck out, which makes sense because there's no humans in Equestria, and she doesn't understand the concept of a human being, so she doesn't know what she is. She's got hands, she's got feet, she's got fingers, and she's having a full-blown panic attack. So Spike's like, chill the fuck out! Chill out, chill out. You're causing a scene. Chill out, bro. Chill out. So Twilight calms down and then on all 4s walks towards the castle and then looks around for 2 seconds and realizes, oh shit, I should be walking on these things on the ground. My toes, my feet, I should be using those. So they walk into this castle and then they realize, obviously, it's not a castle, it's a school because the bell rings and then people flood the whole area. So Twilight sings a little song about being unfamiliar with her surroundings while she's walking around the school, and then she hears a really, really familiar shy voice around the corner. That shy voice is none other than a human Fluttershy currently being bullied by a human Sunset Shimmer. In this world, each human has a pony counterpart on the other side of the mirror in Equestria. So if there's a Fluttershy in Equestria, there's gonna be a Fluttershy at Canterlot High or just in the human realm generally. So Twilight stands up for Fluttershy against Sunset Shimmer, and she hits her with a, "You must be new here," and then she alpha walks away, scaring everyone in the hallway that she passes. Then Fluttershy's like, thanks, but dude, I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was gonna kill you. Anyway, Sunset Shimmer was by the statue this morning and threw a crown at me, and I low-key thought she stole it, so I just gave it to Principal Celestia. So Twilight pulls up to Principal Celestia's office, and I also want to say, she has been on campus for like an hour at this point, and nobody said anything to her, which makes it like age a little bit, because you would have had the hall monitor, who's also the football coach, who's also the science teacher, catch you by now, or the school resource officer would have pulled out a 9mm on you by now. So Principal Celestia is like, who are you? Do you want to sign up for the fall formal to be princess? So while Twilight's leaving the office, she sees that Sunset Shimmer has one princess 3 years in a row, which also means that they are seniors in high school. So Twilight goes to lunch and sits with Fluttershy, and then Fluttershy is like, do not sign up to run against Sunset Shimmer. Do you want to die? Is that what you want? Do you want to die, Twilight Sparkle? Everyone's also split into separate social groups and everything's segregated as such. So like the dramas don't interact with the jocks type shit. After lunch, Twilight meets Pinkie Pie, who's obviously the head of the party planning committee, and then she signs up to run against Sunset Shimmer. Pinkie is thrilled. Applejack comes in and drops off some like apple cider and then started glazing Twilight for laying into Sunset Shimmer to protect Fluttershy. Then right after glazing her, Applejack's like, it sucks that you're gonna die though since you're running against her. It was nice meeting you. Sorry. Sunset Shimmer finds out that Twilight's running against her from Pinkie Pie. So she finds Twilight and corners her in this dark hallway in the school. And then she's like, I'm gonna get your dog taken away. You suck. Celestia sucks. It's my crown. You'll never fit in. And you don't even know what happens when you take an element of harmony into another universe anyway. So you're gonna die. So after all that happens, Twilight goes to the library, attempts to use a computer to no avail, but then finds an old yearbook with this universe's remainder of the main six, all as friends together, and wants to make them friends again. Also, she's sleeping in the library with Spike. The next day, Twilight officially starts school, and after walking through the library doors, everyone is laughing and snickering at her. Turns out, Sunset uploaded a video of Twilight trying to use the library computer online last night, and everyone's seen it. So then she gets pulled into a room by Rarity, who gives her a disguise because she's like, hey girl, everyone's making fun of you. Like, it's pretty bad. So then Pinkie Pie, Applejack, and Fluttershy come into the room. They're like, there you are, everyone's making fun of you. We were looking for you. So they all show Twilight the video, but Pinkie and Rarity have this beef, and then they all start fighting because they low-key hate each other right now. Then they all realize, fuck, the common denominator here is Sunset Shimmer. She's the reason we hate each other. So we're all friends again, yay! Rainbow Dash challenges Twilight in a soccer 1v1 to help her win the formal, but she loses and helps her anyway, because she's like, I like your chutzpah, girly. That's not what she says. A lot of this movie is just Sunset Shimmer taking out of context videos and like cyberbullying Twilight with them. Also, Flash and Twilight have like this little love subplot, but Flash is also Sunset Shimmer's ex, so it's like complicated. So the girlies brainstorm a little dancey dance for the cafeteria to get everyone up and moving to vote for Twilight, and girl, this is so good. It's so good. The cafeteria song is so good. Triple, quadruple platinum on my Spotify since this damn movie came out. The night of the school dance arrives, and there are even more attempted sabotages on Sunset Shimmer's part. She gets her little goons to destroy all of Pinkie's hard work, then tried to blame Twilight for it. Before the dance starts, Twilight tells all of her new friends who she really is and why she's really there. They're all like, oh my god, you're a princess? That's crazy. And then Rarity's like, look at these cool-ass outfits I made, though. Then, at the dance, Principal Celestia gets on stage to announce the fall formal princess winner, and can you guess it? It's Twilight Sparkle! But while Twilight is on stage, Snip and Snail steal Spike and give him to Sunset Shimmer. And then Sunset Shimmer is like, I'm gonna smash the portal home if you don't give me the crown. You know, dooming everyone in Equestria and making Twilight Sparkle stuck there forever. Yeah. Then Twilight starts aura farming and she's like, okay, I'm calling your bluff. Smash it. Pussy if you don't. Pussy if you don't. So Sunset's like, okay, fine. And then jumps Twilight. Literally beating her up for the crown. So after Sunset fights Twilight for the crown, she takes it and then turns into a demon in front of the entire school, then turns all of the other students into zombies. Turns out Demon Sunset Shimmer was going to use all the students that she turned into zombies to go and take over Equestria. Then she fireballs the main six, trying to kill them. So like, I guess everyone was right. Sunset was low-key gonna kill her. But they all survive because why? The power of friendship. Obviously, with honesty, kindness, laughter, generosity, loyalty, and magic, they all transform into their pony sonas and defeat Demon Sunset Shimmer, saving the school and Equestria, while also forgiving her and giving her a path to redemption with the main six, teaching her about friendship. Principal Celestia recrowns Twilight as their princess, and everyone goes back inside to finish the night. Flash asks for his dance from Twilight, and they all have a tearful goodbye before Twilight goes back to the portal into Equestria. Honestly, Equestria Girls is a really, really good start to this series, and I think it's a good foundation for what it's going to become inevitably. So I'm gonna have to give this one an 8. It's a pretty good movie, and even as a standalone movie, I just think it works. I think it's great. Even without the other movies to back it up, it's just really good. We open up here in the human world in a cafe because this is our first time meeting the Dazzlings, who are sirens. Adiago Dazzle, Aria Blaze, and Sonata Dusk are feeding off the negativity of the people in the cafe when they see a blast of equestrian magic coming from Canterlot High School. Then they're like, yeah, let's go to this high school that has no security and become gods amongst teenagers. That's the movie. This soundtrack is honestly banger after banger after banger. Hasbro put their whole Ponosi into this soundtrack because there are 0 misses. Even the intro and outro credits are just good. They're just so good. Anyway, Sunset Shimmer is obviously still getting shit from other people in school because, girl, you turned into a demon and tried to kill us, and also you were a bitch for like 3 years. The Human Main Six are going to be performing as a band for the school's musical showcase coming up, and as they're practicing, they discover that they still pony up when they work together even without Twilight in the same universe. So Rainbow Dash is just being a lot. She's critiquing everyone on everything that they're doing, but Flash comes in and he's like, when is my baby girl Twilight coming back? I miss her so much. So Sunset leaves to go to the office because she told Principal Celestia that she would show these new girls around school. Wouldn't you know it, the new girls are the Dazzlings. Then Sunset tells them about this musical showcase, and obviously they are all for it. But then Sunset notices Adiago's pendant, goes to reach for it, and Adiago grabs the fuck out of her arm. Sunset casually mentions this to the rest of the main six, claiming like something's just off about these new girls, but it could just be that somebody told them that she turned into a fucking demon a couple weeks ago. I don't know. So the Dazzlings hit the North Cafeteria Tower with their hit song Battle of the Bands, feeding off the negativity of all the students in the cafeteria. And then the main six are like, oh fuck. Sunset, I think you're right, Loki. Ooh.
Are you afraid of failing the audition?
So together they all go to Principal Celestia and Vice Principal Luna, and they're basically like, they seemed fine to me. Sunset Shimmer's probably just doing this to get the flack off of her. She did turn into a demon a couple weeks ago. Turns out the Dazzlings already sang to Luna and Celestia, and they made them change it from a musical showcase to a battle of the bands, and they're hypnotized by their siren powers, so that sucks. So everyone's trying to think of how to contact Twilight back in Equestria, and Sunset realizes that she still has her book from when she was a student of Princess Celestia. Whatever you write in the book, Princess Celestia will receive it on the other side of the portal in her own book. But we're back in Equestria, where the pony main six are in the castle, and then they receive Sunset Shimmer's book, and they see her letter, and then they realize, oh fuck, she's in deep shit. So Twilight reveals that the girls are in fact sirens, and they got banished to that world years ago thinking that they would lose all their magic. Turns out, it was not lost, in fact. The connection between these two worlds is cut off, but that begs the question, if it's completely cut off, how did Twilight receive this letter from Sunset Shimmer in the other world? So Twilight does a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and forcibly opens up the portal with the book. So the human main six are hanging out on the other side of the portal, Twilight comes through, it's a nice cute little reunion, and then Twilight tells them the lore about the sirens. And also, the human main six are like, hey, we still have pony magic when we hang out and like play music together. So then they all go to a school party for everyone who signed up for the Battle of the Bands. Everyone hates each other, low-key, and the Dazzlings come in feeding off of all the negativity, and the human main six try to friendship them to death, but embarrass themselves in front of everyone, which causes everyone to fight more, and then creates more negativity for the Dazzlings to feed off of. Then everyone leaves, and Sunset Shimmer is like, guys, we probably have to use music to defeat them because that's how the Dazzlings get their power. So no more sleeping in the library for Twilight. They all have a sleepover party at Pinkie Pie's house while Twilight tries to write a counterspell song, but she can't even write. She don't even know how to use her fucking fingies. Like, she can't write anything. Also, in the kitchen, in the middle of the night, her and Sunset Shimmer have a really, really nice heart-to-heart, realizing they have a lot more in common than they initially thought they did. So, in the morning, they're all practicing in the garage together, and they sound like shit. And then Sunset Shimmer's like, yo, we don't have time for this. We have to check in for the Battle of the Bands in 15 minutes.
thoughts?
They all collectively decide that they have to participate in more than just the first round of performances. They're still fighting because Rainbow Dash is taking over, which causes the Dazzlings to make people sabotage them during their first performance, but their first performance sounds really good nonetheless. Then they fight even more afterwards because they got sabotaged. Fluttershy was running away from the light. Rarity's fire-ass costume got all messed up on stage. Pinkie Pie's cannons went. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Then before the Dazzlings' first round performance, they size up Sunset Shimmer in the same scary hallway that she sized up Twilight Sparkle in the movie before. I don't know what it is about this damn hallway, but this is the hallway where you get sized up. And not in a gay way. Then right after sizing Sunset Shimmer up, we get another banger, and I know bangers. Trixie's song is also fire, but I totally forgot that she calls them the Rain Goons.
Rain Goons.
Then we get Awesome As I Wanna Be, which... But unfortunately, during their performance of Awesome As I Wanna Be, this is the main six's breaking point because Sunset Shimmer dives on stage to stop Rainbow Dash from transforming, and everyone starts fighting because it ruins the performance. Then the Dazzlings hypnotize Principal Celestia and Luna to make sure that they play at the finals instead of Trixie, and they get booed off stage. Then, while the Rainbooms are practicing, Trixie sabotages them and performs instead of them at the battle, and they're all fighting under the stage, finally affected by the Dazzlings' negativity. Then the Dazzlings perform another banger as they're feeding off the negativity from the main six underneath the stage, and Sunset Shimmer's like, y'all, we gotta lock the fuck in. Spike gets Vinyl Scratch to help unlock the girls from under the stage, and helps them get on the mountain to perform their counterspell before everyone gets turned into mindless zombies. Then the Dazzlings transform into their siren forms as the Rainbooms perform their counterspell and also transform into their pony forms. They almost lose, but Twilight drops the microphone and Sunset Shimmer picks it up, realizing that she was the missing piece and she had to help them. Sunset Shimmer transforms into her pony form with the rest of the main six. They defeat the sirens as the music of their friendship survives, bitch. The Dazzlings get booed off stage because they keep trying to sing after they lost, but they sound like shit. But the rest of the band asks Sunset Shimmer to take Twilight's place in the band because she's going home. Twilight says goodbye to everyone and says that the portal is open whenever they need her, and Sunset Shimmer starts writing in her book to Twilight and plays the guitar with the Rainbooms in the credits. Lord, this movie is so fucking good. Genuinely, as much as I enjoyed some of the Gen 3 movies, Rainbow Rocks just eats them all up. This is wholeheartedly and truthfully a 9.5. I don't think it's a perfect movie by far, but it's close to it. All of the songs are good. All of the characters are really good. The villains are fucking phenomenal. And just the story of this movie is really, really good. And it's really hard to top. So I'm giving this a 9.5. We open on the main six, running up to Canterlot High to meet Rainbow Dash because she's having an emergency. And that emergency is she has a broken guitar string. And the girlies are like, bro, we were all fucking doing something. Everyone goes inside the school except Sunset Shimmer because she sits on the stoop of the school to write to Twilight Sparkle back in Equestria. A girl in a hoodie hops off a bus with some thingamabob and is hanging around the portal. Then she gets caught by Sunset Shimmer, so she runs across the street and gets back on the bus. That person, though, is this universe's Twilight Sparkle, who attends a rival high school and is doing research on the magical sightings around the area. The next day at school, Sunset Shimmer tells the rest of the main six, and Rainbow Dash reveals that the culprit is probably from Crystal Prep, since they are in fact facing off against them in the friendship games tomorrow. They all explain their school rivalry to Sunset Shimmer, who's like, yeah, but they're not using evil magic though. And then Fluttershy is like, yeah, they're not using evil magic, but they're mean and that's worse. The school is just not fucking with the friendship games. Even Princess Celestia explains that they only happen once every 4 years, but I'll let Rainbow Dash come on stage and try and hype y'all up. So Rainbow Dash gets on stage and is like, yeah, we may have never won the friendship games like ever in history, but have they ever defeated evil magic? Twice? I don't think so. We got this shit in the bag, y'all. Wonder Colts Forever is pretty much another We Love Our School kind of song, but they did it better with the cafeteria song. It sounds really similar, but the cafeteria song's better. Sorry. Then after that, Vice Principal Luna goes to Sunset Shimmer and she's like, you guys gotta keep your magic to a minimum. We don't want them accusing us of cheating. Also, you need to figure out why you still have magic and to keep it under control. So then she goes to the library to figure that out. Also, while she's in the library, Sunset Shimmer is trying to contact Twilight Sparkle and kind of just talk to her, but she's not replying back like at all. Then we pan over to a human Twilight Sparkle back at Crystal Prep, and she is getting bullied real bad. The students at Crystal Prep are like criminally mean, so she hides in this little dorm supply closet. I don't know, she's taken this room over at the school to do her magic research, and she keeps her dog Spike in there. Also, that thingamabob she was using earlier, oh, that's a device that she created to attract and contain magic in the area. And that's definitely not gonna go wrong, like, at all. Twilight is doing this magical study to get into Everton's math and science program, so that way she doesn't have to interact with other students because it's independent study. So on the way to the principal's office, we get a song from Twilight about her wanting more to life and having to search for it herself. And then when we get there, Dean Cadence, her brother Shine in Armor, and Principal Cince are in the office waiting for her. The principal is pretty much just like, I don't care how we win the games, but we're expected to win, and you're gonna make sure that happens. Because if we lose, I will make sure you won't get into Everton, but if we win, I will make sure with 100% certainty that you get in. Twilight gets off the bus at Canterlot High School, and her magic catcher necklace thingy immediately starts picking up on something. She walks into the school and everyone keeps recognizing her, saying hello and being super nice, and then she walks in on the main six while looking for magic after Rarity transforms. And while Twilight's in the hallway, she completely sucks the magic out of Rarity and into her necklace, and she opens the door to try and figure out what it was, and the main six are like, what, Twilight? What are you doing here? Then everyone's like, oh, that's our universe's Twilight Sparkle. Why you gotta go to a different school, bro? Sunset Shimmer is currently at the portal because she's contemplating if she's gonna go in and find Twilight Sparkle because she hasn't heard from her since she left last time. But human Twilight Sparkle steals the magic from the portal just as Sunset Shimmer is about to go through, and she runs off, and Sunset is freaking the fuck out, which understandably, because she's having a mental breakdown trying to figure out magic, and she wanted to go in and find Twilight for help, and she doesn't understand anything that's happening. Sunset Shimmer tries to confront Twilight, but Twilight sucks Pinky's magic as she's setting up her party cannons? Bro. We start off the games with a decathlon, which obviously Twilight Sparkle and Crystal Prep wins. So outside, Fluttershy and Twilight Sparkle are bonding over bringing their pets to school, and Fluttershy makes Twilight feel normal and tells her, hey, the way your classmates are treating you is kind of fucked up and evil. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, after she makes Twilight feel better, Fluttershy ponies up, and Twilight completely steals all of her magic, opening up portal anomalies to Equestria all around her, and then Spike goes through one of the portals, and then he comes out, and then he's able to talk. Also, the fact that Spike starts talking makes Twilight, like, tweak out, which, understandably, she doesn't understand magic, and she's never interacted with any of, like, the pony shit, so she's so confused. Game after game, every single time one of the main six ponies up, Twilight Sparkle steals their magic, and multiple portal anomalies open up all around them. The final event approaches, and Principal Cince convinces Twilight to use the magic to cheat in the game so that way they can win. And then we get the best song in this movie, Unleash the Magic.
Unleash the magic, unleash the magic. If we lose, then it's a crime.
Twilight does as she's told and unleashes the magic at the start of the final game, where then she transforms into a corrupted magical form called Midnight Sparkle. Quite agonizingly, might I add, she's literally begging her principal and classmates for help, and they just stare at her and do nothing. Then she starts opening portals and rifts to Equestria and threatening to collapse both worlds together. People are trying not to fall in the cracks, and everyone is freaking out, but Sunset Shimmer, she steps up, collecting the power of friendship from all of her friends, fighting to save everyone. So she takes Twilight's magic stealer necklace thing to transform into her radiant magical form. Then she confronts Twilight not with force but with empathy, saying she's literally done this exact same thing and she understands what it feels like to be that powerful. She did turn into a demon a couple movies ago. Sunset helps her regain control of herself and reject Cince's manipulation, turning her back to normal with the power of friendship and closing all the portals. In the end, Twilight transfers to Canterlot High to learn more about the magic of friendship. Sunset Shimmer realizes that they pony up when they show the truest part of themselves, and she takes Twilight under her wing to the path of forgiveness. Then as like an after credits thing, Princess Twilight comes back through the portal and explains why she didn't show up, and then they kind of do like the Spider-Man pointing thing because they're both Twilight Sparkle. From this point forward, there's pretty much no more equestrian Princess Twilight Sparkle. It's just human Twilight interacting with the rest of the main 6, which is now the main 7. So I will be referring to them as the main 7 for the remainder of this video. Also, this movie, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I liked it. It was good. It was cute. And it was a good way to shoehorn in human Twilight. I think they did what they needed to do to get her in the universe. Next movie. We wake up to Twilight having a nightmare and being woken up by the main 6. It's summertime and they're leaving for Camp Everfree. Camp Everfree is a summer camp that Canterlot High School raises money to go to every summer. The main 6 are helping Twilight pack, but while Twilight's getting changed in the bathroom, she sees herself in the reflection of the mirror, but it's Midnight Sparkle. So she's terrified that she may lose control of the magic again, and Midnight Sparkle decides, oh, I'm gonna disintegrate the main 6, and then threatens to steal all magic from Twilight. Yeah, they're dead, by the way. I'm just joking. She's on the bus to Camp Everfree right now. She was just having a nightmare. Twilight low-key has PTSD, and it's not even low-key. I don't know why her friends aren't like, hey, you should go to therapy, babe. Anyways, we make it to camp, and finally, we have a break from all these evil magic shenanigans. We never have to deal with it ever again. Flash tries to go up to Twilight and like riz her up, but she's just not fucking with it, and then Sunset Shimmer has to explain to Twilight like, yeah, Horse Twilight kind of had a thing with him and he had a crush on her. And Twilight's like, yeah, but that's not me though. Then everyone has a little meeting with the camp director, Gloriosa, and they were told they have to work on a gift that can be used for future campers, even though the camp may shut down. But I digress. Also, Twilight has a crush on the second camp counselor, Timber Spruce. So there's like a jealousy thing going on. With Flash, it's a whole thing. Then this is when we find out about Filthy Rich, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I love me a fucked up and evil middle-aged man. So Twilight and Sunset are sharing a tent together, and after some reassuring to Twilight that she's okay, and everyone forgave her for the friendship games, everything in their tent starts floating. So Sunset Shimmer's like, oh hell yeah, more magic, but Twilight is freaking the hell out. She also makes Sunset Shimmer promise to not tell anyone about the things in the tent floating. Sunset and Twilight go down to the docks, and finally Sunset has this conversation with Flash and reassures him like, hey, your Twilight isn't around. The Twilight that's currently flirting with Timber Spruce on the docks doesn't really fuck with you like that. You really need to get over Twilight because she's going to spend 99.9% of her time in Equestria, and she's a princess. She's out of your league, brother. So the dock is broken, and they all have a meeting, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna use the dock as our gift to camp this year, but let's all go down to the fire pit and tell scary stories. So Timber Spruce tells everyone a scary story about the legend of the Gaia Everfree. When Timber's great-grandparents built their cabin on this land, the Gaia Everfree, who is like this big old forest monster, pushed a tree down on top of the cabin. She then told his grandparents that she was the Gaia Everfree, and she held domain over this forest and that they were trespassing on her land. They basically begged the Everfree to let them use the forest as a camp to share its beauty, and then she agreed but said they can't use the forest forever and someday she will come to reclaim it. Overnight, Twilight Sparkle has another nightmare and wakes up floating in her bed, but she refuses to talk about it, so she runs in the woods and sings a song about how she's depressed and has PTSD and not wanting her friends to see the midnight in her. That's the name of the song. Then Twilight bumps into Timber in the woods. They have a cute little moment together, and there are multiple magical disturbances which Twilight blames herself for. So Twilight starts isolating herself because she thinks it's all her fault, which it obviously isn't. So her and Sunset Shimmer and Spike go to a cave by a rock quarry, which they're not supposed to be going near, and Sunset and Twilight find Gloriosa inside the cave. So Sunset reads Gloriosa's mind, which she can do that now, by the way. If she touches someone, she can read their mind. Sunset finds out that Gloriosa is losing the camp to Filthy Rich, and she's been using these magical rocks that were hidden in the forest to try and fix all the camp's problems. So Sunset and Twilight are begging Gloriosa to stop using the magic, but she is so overwhelmed by the pressure and her desire to protect the camp that she absorbs all the rock's power, transforming into a vine-covered entity resembling the Gaia Everfree, but like more cunty. She also Jesus boulders the cave so that way Spike, Sunset, and Twilight can't escape. So Gloriosa goes back to the camp and everyone freaks out because they're like, oh my god, it's the Gaia Everfree. So she makes a big thorny dome over the camp, and then Miss Cuntimus Prime herself hits us with a juicy ass song called We Will Stand for Everfree. Which obviously, this scares everyone at Canterlot High. They all have magic-induced PTSD at this point. Their future therapists are gonna send them to institutions, I swear. These poor kids cannot catch a break. The main 7 minus Twilight and Sunset are all trying to use their powers to keep their classmates out of harm's way, and they're also trying to escape this giant thorn dome, but Gloriosa is capturing everyone. Then Twilight overcomes her fear and uses her magic to move the stone from in front of the cave, freeing her, Sunset, and Spike. Happy Easter! So while Sunset, Twilight, and Spike are running back to the camp, Gloriosa is trying to explain to everyone that she's really trying to save them, but the rest of the main 7 are not having it. Twilight uses her magic to open up the vines, reuniting everyone and starting the battle to stop Gloriosa. So the entirety of the main 7 are stuck under Rarity's crystal force field, with thorns closing in, and they're all trying to reassure Twilight, it's okay to use your magic, please just use all of your magic, we're all gonna die, please use your magic. So Twilight is currently fighting with Midnight Sparkle inside of her own mind, and the rest of the main 7 are outside trying to encourage her, saying that it's okay, you're good, dude. Twilight realizes that Midnight Sparkle and magic really don't control her, but she controls it, and with everyone's support, she embraces her power, channeling it along with the other girls to stop Gloriosa's rampage. They each get a stone from Gloriosa and transform into their crystal forms to defeat her and save everyone in the camp. Also, the stones that they stole from Gloriosa, oh yeah, they turn into cute little matching necklaces, which marks the fact that they have permanent magic for now on. Then they have like a dance gala fundraiser thing to save the camp from Filthy Rich, and Timber Spruce asks Twilight Sparkle on a date, and they almost kiss at the end. Homosexual kissing in my children's movie? We only accept the gay agenda in this house. Apartment. Rarity, Applejack, start kissing! God damn it, I didn't rate the movie. I was doing so good, by the way. I'm gonna give Camp Everfree a 6 because it was okay.
Stop it, you have to take it off. I can't. Cut!
Okay, we're hopping around with this one because it falls right in the middle of the Equestria Girls takeover, but this movie takes place in Equestria, and we're back to the pony main 6. It's been so long. Since last I've seen my ponies lost to this monster, the man behind the slaughter. The man behind the slaughter being Richard S. Stoddart, the chair of the board of Hasbro Incorporated. Okay, we're gonna watch the movie now. So we open up this movie with an aerial shot of Equestria. But in Canterlot, Princess Twilight Sparkle is running herself ragged, trying to organize the Friendship Festival, which is a big event she hopes will unite every pony in celebration. Y'all, we get another festival again. We haven't had a festival in like 3 or 4 movies. I miss the festivals, low-key. It's not My Little Pony without a fuck-ass festival of some sort. Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Fluttershy each are handling different festival tasks that go along with their personalities, obviously. But Twilight is hyper-fixating on convincing the other princesses, Celestia, Luna, and Cadence, to lend their magic to create the perfect rainbow display for Songbird Serenade's performance. But they're pretty much like, "Lil bro, you are overthinking this," and Twilight spirals into a panic about being the princess of friendship who can't even pull off the perfect party. Songbird Serenade takes the stage in a black and white wig. It's Sia. Just when she's about to perform, a dark storm cloud rolls in, and massive airships descend on Equestria with the insignia of the Storm King. This is a new villain threatening Equestria's peace because we don't have enough of those, right? Out of the lead ship steps Tempest Shadow, a broken-horned unicorn whose power crackles with unstable magic, evil magic, might I say. She announces the Storm King's takeover and demands that the princesses surrender their magic. When they obviously refuse, Tempest throws obsidian balls at the... When they obviously refuse, Tempest throws obsidian balls at them, which whoever they hit turns to stone. Then Celestia yells at Luna, "You need to get help from Hippo!" And then she gets cut off because she gets turned to stone and gets hit with them balls. Twilight barely escapes with the rest of the main six as Canterlot falls under the Storm King's control. So the main six leave and go across the desert to look for the Queen Hippo something or other, whatever they think Celestia said, so they can save Equestria. Now that they're lost, they stumble into this grimy desert trading hub full of like super shady people who see the ponies as walking dollar signs. I mean, it's a Pegasus princess, no shit. They get rescued by this guy named Capper, who's a very charming cat carn artist who leads them through the market, and he promises to help them while secretly planning to sell them to pay off his debt. So Rarity gives Capper like a cute little makeover out of the kindness of her heart, and Capper's like, "Fuck, now I feel really bad." And just as he's about to tell them, like, "Hey guys, I kind of sold you out, actually," Tempest shows up. Yay! So Tempest airship descends and it's hunting Twilight, but the ponies escape onto a train and leave Capper behind. But he's already changed as a person, and he's inspired to do the right thing. The train leads them up into the sky, and they get intercepted by a pirate ship manned by Captain Celiano, and all of the people on it are parrot people. Obviously, the crew seems a little threatening because they do work and deliver goods for the Storm King, but Rainbow Dash decides, scary pirate people, it's time to sing! The victory is short-lived, though, because guess what? Tempest is here now. Who would have guessed? Do they get captured? No, because they jump off the side of the ship, you know, the one that's in the sky. So underwater, they get rescued by Princess Skystar and her mother, Queen Novo, which are the rulers of Equestria. The ponies who reside and live here were turned into sea creatures after the Storm King's invasion. Skystar really wants to help the main six, but Queen Novo refuses to risk her kingdom, understandably so. However, she does let the main six use her magic pearl to temporarily transform into sea ponies so they can enjoy a break from running for their lives. So Twilight is completely hyperfixated on saving Equestria, and you know what she decides? You know what lovely, smart Twilight Sparkle decides? Oh, these people that were kind enough to let me in their home and stay here and mingle with their people and be underwater with them, and you know what she decides to do? Oh, I'm gonna steal the pearl, you know, like a fucking idiot. Obviously, she gets caught, and Queen Novo banishes them from Equestria. The betrayal cuts so deep to the rest of the main six that they leave her alone.
Anyone who doesn't trust her friends! Well, maybe I would have been better off without friends like you!
And then Twilight's like super consumed by guilt. But you know what? Good for them. I would have done the same shit. Wouldn't let that shit happen to me though. But I would have done the same thing. Tempest obviously finds and captures Twilight, bringing her aboard the Storm King's ship. And then during their conversation, Tempest reveals her backstory to Twilight Sparkle. As a filly, Tempest lost her horn defending her friends from an Ursa Minor, and her friends abandoned her afterward, leaving her bitter and alone. So she believes that loyalty and friendship are illusions, and power is the only thing that matters. The Storm King is like comically self-centered and immature, by the way, and like he cares more about his brand and magical staff than Tempest's pain. Yeah. So they get back to Canterlot, Tempest delivers Twilight, and the Storm King uses her to harness the princess's magic, finally gaining control of the skies themselves. So the rest of the main six is like, fuck, I guess we gotta go help Twilight Sparkle. So they go get Capper, the pirates, and Skystar, and then they fool the guards by pretending to deliver a cake for the Storm King, and then they beat them up. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but the Storm King's magical staff can summon tornadoes and like lightning and scary clouds and stuff. So the main six party cannons into the castle to save Twilight, and the Storm King loses his wand. It gets like stuck in a window. The castle starts falling apart, but the main six don't care. They help Twilight make a like chain to go grab the wand. The Storm King and Twilight are racing to grab this wand, but they both go through the window and into a tornado. Everyone's crying, it's a whole thing. She's good though. She's good. Tempest saw what the rest of the main six did for Twilight, proving that friendship is not a weakness. As the Storm King throws his final obsidian ball, Tempest jumps in front of Twilight to stop him, turning them both into stone, but the orb's explosion petrifies the Storm King mid-attack instead. Twilight saves Tempest from falling off the balcony and shattering. The magic is released, and Twilight and Tempest unpetrify everything and everyone. Also, yeah, they saved Tempest from falling off the balcony, but not the Storm King. He fell off and shattered. That motherfucker's dead. Equestria is put back just the way that it was before the takeover, and there's a big party with all of Equestria, the pirates, Capper, and Skystar, and they watch Sia perform together. This movie absolutely exceeded my expectations story-wise, and I mean stylistically, it's absolutely beautiful. The songs, they're not super memorable, but still pretty damn good. The animation is just so phenomenal and works perfectly with the Generation 4 style, and this is the first time I've been impressed with a My Little Pony movie since Rainbow Rocks. This is pretty damn good. I'm gonna give this a 9.
I'm gonna hide in Pinky's locker and scare her when she...
The only reason I watched this is because it was uploaded as a full movie to the My Little Pony YouTube channel before I realized it was technically a 4-part special. And I'm only including this because of how inexplicably angry it made me. Another day at Canterlot High, and we start off with a song about how far the gang has gotten together. Sunset Shimmer is now completely confident and in her element. She's joking with friends, helping out with student council tasks, and working on the yearbook as editor-in-chief. There's this nice sense of warmth and belonging, and it's so nice because this is the same girl who once terrorized the school as a literal demon, and now she gets hugs in the hallway. This special is just reestablishing Sunset's growth since her villain days and shows that she's earned everyone's trust. Everything is so peaceful and fine, but no it's not, because these girls can't catch a fucking break, dude. Immediately, the song is cut off by Sunset Shimmer bumping into their classmate Wallflower Blush, who is a quiet kid who tends to stay in the background and is usually ignored. This is important that she's ignored. Wallflower gives Sunset Shimmer all of the votes for all the superlatives for the yearbook, like well-dressed, class clown, most likely to kind of thing. So the main 7 discover that they were voted best friends, and Rarity suggests that they take a group picture at the beach on Saturday. So then Trixie bursts through the door demanding to know why she wasn't voted the greatest and most powerfulest in the yearbook, and Sunset's like, that literally doesn't even exist. So Trixie gets pissed and then leaves via smoke bomb, and then the main 7 leave the room and turn the lights off, but Wallflower Blush is still in there, unintentionally leaving her alone in the dark. Later that night, Sunset Shimmer writes to Princess Twilight in her journal and catches her up on all the recent things going on in her life. But when she finishes her book and goes to bed, a weird magic swirls through the night sky and gathers over the forest above Canterlot High School. On Saturday, everyone meets up at the beach, and human Twilight Sparkle brings her selfie-taking camera drone for the yearbook picture. Rarity and Rainbow Dash decide what beach blanket to use for the photo, Fluttershy is scuba diving, but then Sunset Shimmer shows up to join them, and everyone's confused by her friendly behavior, and they're really mean to her, even saying that they're not even friends. So Sunset touches Applejack's arm to read her mind, because remember, she can do that now. So she reads her mind and discovers all of these past events like the friendship games, the trip to Camp Everfree, the Battle of the Bands. She was in none of these memories. She has been erased from the minds of everyone after the events of Equestria Girls, so everyone still thinks that she's a major bitch who turned into a demon and never got redeemed. Sunset tries to convince them all, like, guys, we're friends. We literally have matching friendship necklaces that give us magical powers. Are we being so fucking for real right now? But they only remember her as the bully who tormented them on freshman year, and Twilight only remembers that Sunset yelled at her during the friendship games. So Sunset writes back to Princess Twilight in Equestria and is like, hey, we're friends, right? And Twilight's like, yeah? Why wouldn't we be? What's wrong? Is something wrong? So Sunset decides to go explain in more detail in person and uses the portal to return home to Equestria. Holy shit, y'all. So she hops into Twilight's castle and she's like, everyone's memories of me got wiped and it's fucked up. So Twilight's like, all right, bestie, we gotta go to Canterlot and you gotta apologize to Princess Celestia, though. I'm sorry. And mind you, Sunset Shimmer has not spoken to Princess Celestia since she ran away to the human world, so this is big. At Canterlot Castle, they stand before Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, and Sunset apologizes to Celestia for everything she did before running away to the human world for the first time. Celestia forgives Sunset, and then they both both hug. It's really nice. After hearing about Sunset's situation, Celestia suspects that equestrian magic is obviously the culprit, and she leads Sunset and Twilight into a restricted section of the Canterlot Library. Twilight and Sunset Shimmer find ancient writings of Clover the Clever, which mention a magical object called the Memory Stone. Long ago, an evil sorceress used this stone to erase other people's memories, and every time Clover came close to stopping her, she erased his memories and escaped. So to counteract this, Clover secretly started writing everything down so he'd know the sorceress's next move after his memories were erased. Clover's last known action was chasing the sorceress through a portal, and the last page of his writings are missing. Twilight thinks that the Memory Stone ended up in the human world and that someone is using it to erase everyone's memories and make them hate Sunset Shimmer. But then again, who would do that? The only person that Sunset Shimmer thinks could do this is Trixie, but then when she goes to Trixie and be like, hey, did you do this? Trixie was like, no, but I'll help you if you make me the greatest and most powerfulest in the yearbook. So Sunset and Trixie team up and they're trying to figure out and deduce who is doing this. Back in Equestria, Princess Twilight finds the missing piece of Clover the Clever's writings and learns that after defeating the sorceress, he buried the stone in the middle of a rock formation somewhere in the human world. She also discovers that if someone's memories are erased longer than 3 days, then those memories are erased forever. Twilight tries to tell Sunset about the time limit, but she conveniently leaves the journal in her locker. Sunset and Trixie are still trying to figure out the suspect, but with everyone's memories being erased, everyone is a suspect. Sunset and Trixie are asking all around the school about this Memory Stone, but their investigation is not turning up any leads. All of this is happening, Sunset is also watching her friends have fun without her, which is making her even more sad and depressed. So Sunset and Trixie go back to the yearbook office, and Sunset decides to look through the yearbook to look for more suspects. But then they realize, oh, we never questioned Wallflower Blush, who has been sitting in the corner of the room the entire time. As Trixie is talking to Wallflower, Sunset finally reads Princess Twilight's message about the Memory Stone's 3-day time limit, meaning she only has until the end of the day to restore everyone's memories. But on the background of Wallflower's computer, Sunset notices a rock formation where the Memory Stone was buried. Then when Sunset asks Wallflower about the photo, Wallflower just says it was taken in the school gardens for the gardening club, and she's the only member of the gardening club. So Sunset reads her mind and sees memories of Wallflower constantly being ignored and unnoticed by other students. So she picked up gardening as a hobby and made a small garden outside the school. Then one day, she dug up the Memory Stone that came with instructions on how to use it. So Wallflower resented Sunset Shimmer so bad that she used the Memory Stones to erase not only her friends, but everyone in the school's memories of Sunset Shimmer after she was redeemed. Right. Okay. Then she sings a song called Invisible, where she expresses her bitterness of always being ignored, even by people she's known for years. While Wallflower is singing, Sunset tries to steal the Memory Stone from her backpack by force. Wallflower notices and erases her and Trixie's memories of the past few hours. The room is locked from the outside and they have to start over. But when Sunset and Trixie wake up, Sunset looks in her pocket and finds a note addressed to herself saying, look at the video. So Sunset plays a video that she left recording in case her memory was erased, so she and Trixie rediscover that Wallflower Blush was behind all the memory erasing. Walk with me here, okay. After seeing her own anger and Wallflower Blush's resentment, she realized it's not enough to just be mean to someone. Nobody ever reached out to Wallflower Blush with any kindness. So after Sunset makes this realization, she says she's glad that she still at least has a friend in Trixie, and the time limit runs out. All of a sudden, Trixie decides, I'm gonna use my stage magic and somehow, poof, and unlock the door from the other side. I don't know how she did it, but she did it. So Sunset sprints to the school parking lot, catching up with Wallflower, and she even tries to reason with her again. When Wallflower reveals that she used the Memory Stone to erase Sunset Shimmer's memories, the rest of the main 7 are in the parking lot and they hear everything. Sunset tries to reach out to Wallflower again, but she's refusing to listen and decides to use the Memory Stone to erase all of Sunset's friends' memories of high school. This is so fucked up because Sunset realizes this would erase their friendships entirely. So she jumps in front of them, making all of her own high school memories become erased. So with Sunset sacrificing her own memories of high school altogether, she also erases all of her memories of coming to the human world.
Fluttershy! No!
If she doesn't remember high school, obviously she doesn't remember what a human being is, and she doesn't know what this world is generally. So she's on the ground, whimpering and scared. I feel so fucking bad. Like, Sunset Shimmer got the worst of everything. Everything! The rest of the main 7 is so moved by Sunset's sacrifice that they go up to her and they comfort her and they call her a friend. When they're comforting her, all of their necklaces combine, they get a brand new magical transformation, and their combined magic makes a blast of light that destroys the memory stone and restores everyone's memories. So they all hug, and Wallflower apologizes, saying, "Oh, I became corrupted by the stone's power because I continually used it to erase embarrassing memories of myself."
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
What? Sunset also apologizes for making her feel invisible, but listen, so you erased people's memories of yourself and then got mad when people forgot about you. Right, okay. Fuck you. This made me so inexplicably angry, and I felt so bad for Sunset Shimmer. I'm giving this a 5. I'm still mad about it. Fuck Wallflower Blush. Fuck that bitch. All right, it's pitch black outside, my phone's about to die, also my mic's about to die, and I have to make dinner. So, when I snap my fingers, bada bing, bada boom, it'll be tomorrow in my room. It's tomorrow. Oh my gosh. What a coinkydink that we meet up here like this.
Oh, am I getting teacher pay for this?
So I'm gonna be frank with y'all, even though my name is Sky. My Little Pony Forgotton Friendship and then My Little Pony Roller Coaster of Friendship both are technically 4-part specials, and they're not movies. I did not know this until after I watched Roller Coaster of Friendship and saw on the My Little Pony YouTube channel that technically these are 4-part specials that they all put in one video and called a movie. I know. Technically they are 4-part specials. They're not technically a full movie, but My Little Pony uploaded them as a full movie. You are at my mercy. I don't need to explain myself. This is my YouTube video. You're at my mercy. Finally, a break from Equestria Girls because we're ponies again, y'all. We're ponies. We're so pony-core. Also, I'm absolutely loving that we're back in the same art style as the last My Little Pony movie. And speaking of absolutely loving, I love Lyra and Bon Bon. I love lesbian ponies. Rainbow Dash got invited to be their guest of honor for the Rainbow Festival, and everyone is super excited. There's a fan club, a luxury resort, a spa, a butterfly garden, a bakery, karaoke, fishing, everything for the main 6 to enjoy. Twilight Sparkle left Spike in charge of the School of Friendship. But when they reach Hope Hollow, everything looks way different than what they expected. Also, they crashed their hot air balloon into a billboard because there was a rainbow on the billboard and they thought it was a real rainbow and that they could go through the billboard, but no, they crashed into the billboard. But they crash right outside of town and they pull up and there's no festival happening. No welcoming committee greets them. The town is really gray. There's literally one pony, Petunia Petals, in this very, very sad looking gray ass town. So they walk up to Petunia and they're like, "Where's the festival?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know who invited you, but there's no festival. But I'll give you a hotel room. It's a little grimy, but you can talk to the mayor in the morning." So the next day, the main 6 explore around Hope Hollow, trying to figure out why everything looks gloomy and gray. Then they find Mayor Sunny Skies, who's doing some repairs around town, and he explains pretty reluctantly, might I add. So the mayor explains the town used to be vibrant, but lost its color because of the rainbow generator malfunctioning during a previous festival. The mayor admits that he sent them the festival invitation as a gamble to bring back attention and hope to the town, but obviously none of the color has came back yet. So the main 6 decide to split tasks. Rainbow Dash gives flying lessons to ponies in her fan club, and their names are Pickle and Barley Barrel. Rarity partners up with a local designer named Kerfuffle to work on new festival attire, and we love Kerfuffle in this apartment. We love Kerfuffle. Kerfuffle is a baddie, and we need to make sure that they are safe. Applejack helps a repair pony named Torque Wrench. They really had to get the 2 gay ponies together. They're like, you guys can figure something out. Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy end up helping a local baking couple, plus the Hoofingtons, because they don't know which apricots are ripe or not because there's no color in the town. Meanwhile, Twilight Sparkle is in the library doing research research on the town's mysterious color loss, and she discovers that Sunny Skies was in a secret room working on a speech. She also noticed multiple colored photos on the walls from before the town lost its color. Petunia then comes in and shows Twilight photos of the last Rainbow Festival, showing the town losing its color when the rainbow generator got activated. Despite Sunny blaming himself for the whole loss of color in the town, Petunia is pretty certain it was an accident, so she decides to show Twilight the remains of the rainbow generator, and Twilight's like, "Urethra! I have an idea!" As the town's rainbow sign is getting repaired, the news about the Rainbow Festival starts to spread, and more color is slowly starting to return to the people. Twilight approaches Sunny Skies with the generator and says that if they rebuild it and use it in conjunction with a reversal spell she found in the library, it could restore the town's color. Torque Wrench finishes rebuilding the rainbow generator, but just as Applejack and Twilight are commending her and thanking her for her help, Applejack notices some flowers on the windowsill are starting to regain their color. Applejack even tries to tell Twilight about it, but Twilight obviously goes, no, I'm doing something. I'm working on the generator. Can you get out? Go. The generator turns on and projects a rainbow, and then Twilight casts the reversal spell on the generator, but obviously nothing happens and they think they all failed. Twilight and the rest of the main six feel really guilty about failing, but then Applejack shows Twilight the flowers, revealing that color is still returning to Hope Hollow on its own. As more and more color returns to the town, Twilight realizes that the loss of color was caused by something else. So she runs back to the library and realizes that the photos of the last Rainbow Festival were in the incorrect order. Twilight takes Mayor Sunny Skies into town and shows him that it's regaining its color without the rainbow generator, and that the photos were in the incorrect order, so it wasn't even his fault. Twilight finally figures out that the loss of color in town was because of hopeless magic. The town's ponies drifted apart and lost all hope in one another, and the destruction of the rainbow generator pushed them over the edge, causing all the color to disappear.
Whatever that means.
With the return of the Rainbow Festival, the town's hope started to come back, and Mayor Sunny Skies addressed the town's ponies to thank Twilight and her friends for helping bring hope and friendship back to Hope Hollow. Then he reactivates the rainbow generator, and the sight of the rainbow aura fully restores the town's color. Sunny Skies then asks Petunia to marry him. That's the speech that he was writing this whole time, by the way. Rainbow Dash, Pickle, and Barley do their aerial performance, closing with a sonic boom, and the town comes together to sing Living in Color. Then the main six leave in their repaired hot air balloon and go back to Equestria. I didn't know this movie existed. There was no advertising for it, and I assume it was supposed to be like a sequel to the last movie in this style, but the problem is much more whimsical and easy to digest rather than a heavy situation like from the 2017 movie. Also, there were a lot of leaks of this movie. That in conjunction with the show being on hiatus and zero advertising, I think that's what did them in. But this movie was really simple, it was grounded, and I feel like it would have worked really well if it came out in between like season 1 or 2 of Friendship is Magic. I'm gonna give this movie a 7. I was genuinely surprised with how good I personally thought it was. It was really cute, simple, perfect for what it needed to be.
Inky, if you're real, I'm giggling ghosts too.
So this is one of the only modern My Little Pony movies that I've personally watched because it made its rounds on TikTok when it first came out. Guys, Nibbles is here, hold on. Nibbles decided to join us. Ooh, he's purring real hard. We open up this movie with a flashback to Sunny Star Scout as a filly playing with her carved toys of Twilight, Sparkle, and the rest of the main six, while telling her friends Hitch and Sprout about how pony races used to be all friends. Sunny's father, Argyle, projects stories of the old days in her room, and together they launch a paper lantern invitation asking Pegasi and unicorns to visit Maritime Bay. This one instance marked the beginning of Sunny Star Scout's constant, lifelong obsession with reuniting Earth ponies, Pegasi, and unicorns. Years later, Sunny is a girly pop young adult selling smoothies and performing, still obsessed with unity between ponies. She crashes a corporate Cantorlogic presentation to give a heartfelt speech about friendship, and then she gets booed and escorted out of the room. Her enthusiasm for friendship completely annoys Hitch, who is her childhood best friend and also the sheriff of town, which me personally, I don't care if it's a pony or a pig, I ain't associating with no damn sheriff. Her other childhood best friend is Sprout, who is Hitch's deputy and is terrified of outside races. Sunny wants to restore what was lost and believes that she can do it by reaching out to other species of ponies. Then, Maritime Bay ponies start freaking out because a unicorn named Izzy Moonbow is wandering through town, and just her presence is enough to cause a town-wide panic. It's like when I go to Appalachia to visit home and someone calls me the F-slur for looking visibly queer. Like, I just want a pepperoni roll and you're scaring the Amish. Can we chill, please? So Sunny hides Izzy in her lighthouse, they become quick friends, and Izzy reveals that unicorn magic is gone and she needs to find it. Sunny decides to look for the source of magic with Izzy, and they travel to Pegasus City, Zephyr Heights, to find answers. Hitch follows Izzy and Sunny, but leaves Sprout in charge temporarily back home. So Sprout uses this opportunity to stoke fear in the town, and with encouragement from his mama Phyllis, they start preparing unicorn and Pegasi defenses. This is just another instance of parents instilling the same fears of other races and cultures in their children that they have themselves to keep the generational cycle of racism alive. So Sunny and Izzy make their way to the technologically advanced Zephyr Heights. Right when they get to town, they're arrested by royal guards and brought before Queen Haven, her celebrity daughter Pip Petals, and her teen sister Zip Storm. It quickly became clear that the Pegasi were not what Sunny anticipated because the citizens of Zephyr Heights can't fly. They're Pegasus and they can't fly. Pip's hovering in public is only maintained by like wires and stage tech because only royalty is allowed to fly publicly. It's like a PR thing. So Sunny and Izzy try to interrogate Queen Haven about the Pegasi's loss of flight, but Pip live streams it on Kick, causing a public spectacle. So Sunny and Izzy get thrown in prison, and then Zip goes and frees them because they want to know the answers to Sunny's questions too. Why can't they fly? Where's the magic? Pip wants attention from her mother so bad that she joins her sister, Sunny, and Izzy to get the Pegasus crystal from Haven's crown to test whether combining the crystals will restore magic. So while Pip is performing on stage, Sunny and Izzy swap Queen Haven's crown with a fake one and attempt to escape with the Pegasus crystal. But Cloudpuff, which is Queen Haven's pet, steals the crystal, chases them, Hitch shows up to arrest Sunny and messes up the wires keeping Pip up in the air during her performance, exposing that her and her family can't actually fly. The crowd boos her, denounces her, shuns her, and then the queen gets arrested. So Pip gives the crystal to Sunny. So then Pip, Zip, Sunny, and Izzy, and also Hitch leave to go to Brindlewood to find the unicorn crystal. But back at home, Sprout is singing songs and causing mass panic, saying that he has to attack the unicorns and Pegasi before they attack the town. I think Sprout would love this administration. So back with Sunny and Izzy, Pip and Zip are pissed at each other because they got their mom arrested, which, understandably. Hitch also keeps accusing Izzy of stealing his sheriff badge, and he's like, I'm gonna arrest you, I'm gonna arrest you, I'm gonna arrest you. I think towards the beginning of this movie, Hitch also would have really enjoyed this administration. So they end up setting up camp, and turns out that letter that Sunny and her father put in the lantern when she was a kid, Izzy ended up receiving. That's why Izzy went to Maritime Bay to start this journey. They're all connected. Oh my goodness. Izzy, Hitch, Pip, and Zip are so moved by this that they're like, oh my god, we're supposed to be friends. Let's stop being racist to each other. Yes! So in the morning, everyone goes to Izzy's house in Brindlewood, and she's like, you guys need a disguise. Everyone's gonna freak out if they see that you're not unicorns. Then after they work on their disguises and we get the song Fit Right In, turns out unicorns are super depressed, and they get triggered by the words magic, wing, and feather. So after asking around town about the unicorn crystal, Sunny ends up having a DDR dance battle with a pony named Alphabittle to get the unicorn crystal. Sunny loses twice in a row, but with some words of encouragement and tips from Pip, she wins the third round. Then, Sunny's fake unicorn horn falls off, and Alphabittle, as well as all of the unicorns around her, freak out, and the contest is off. So Sunny and the rest of her friends, I'm not even kidding, Sunny and the rest of her friends have to use the unicorn's trigger words against them to escape into the woods as they steal the unicorn crystal. Also, Queen Haven broke out of prison to find her daughters, also confronted Sunny in the woods, but then the unicorns caught up, and there's like this huge fight between the unicorns and the Pegasi, with Sunny and the gang being stuck in the middle. So Sunny breaks up all their arguing and is like, I can bring the magic back with these crystals! She doesn't. She does try to combine the crystals and nothing happens, so she gives them back and goes back home with Hitch. So Sunny gets home and starts packing away old toys and childhood drawings when she notices her little lighthouse projector has indentations shaped like the Pegasus and unicorn crystals. So she opens up the projector and takes out the prism inside, realizing that there were actually 3 crystals this whole time and she had the Earth Pony crystal. Bro, Sunny leaves and goes to town to look for Hitch and discovers that Sprout has now dubbed himself Emperor and declared war against the Unicorn and Pegasi people. He also has a tank, by the way. So Sunny and Hitch race to find her friends, who are all walking towards Maritime Bay because they still wanted to be friends with Sunny. But turns out, right behind Pip, Zip, and Izzy, Queen Haven and Alphabettle and the Unicorns and Pegasi are following them, trying to convince them all to come home. But unfortunately, before Sunny and Hitch can warn them, Sprout's tank shows up and threatens every unicorn and Pegasus present. Then Sunny asks Queen Haven and Alphabettle for the crystals back and tells her friends to go towards the lighthouse while Hitch and Zip try to slow the tank down. So back at Sunny's house, she tries to put all the crystals together, but Sprout caught up and rams the tank against Sunny's house. Sunny is desperately trying to put these crystals back together, but as that's happening, Queen Haven has to save Alphabettle from being run over by Sprout's tank. And Phyllis is like, please stop, stop. Hey, wow, so you should have thought about the consequences of filling your child's head up with racism before they got to this point, before they got to the point of running around town with a tank and declaring war on multiple races of ponies. Should have thought about that, you old bitch. So Sprout doesn't listen and rams into the lighthouse a second time, but as he does it, they combine all the crystals and nothing happens. The house crumbles to the ground, and Sunny sees a picture of her and her father on the ground, broken into pieces. And that's when Sunny realizes it's not just the crystals that need to be together, it's the pony races themselves. Then Queen Haven, Alphabettle, and Phyllis step forward and reassemble the broken picture frame together. And just when they do that, all of the crystals start to glow and levitate off the ground. The crystals swirl around Sunny and carry her up into the air, filling her with magic. Then, a horn and wings appear on Sunny's body. Just when the 3 crystals go together, a burst of rainbow light spreads across the sky, restoring magic and everyone's abilities. It's really unfortunate that Generation 5 wasn't as successful as Hasbro wanted, because it built up a lot of good potential with this movie. It's just really weird to me that Hasbro would rather move on from it rather than doing a little bit of marketing to try and salvage this generation, but it is what it is. They already canceled it. I think, unfortunately, in the big 2025, people lack a lot of critical thinking skills, which means that their children also lack critical thinking skills. So the way that Hasbro went about this movie, making it completely blatant that this movie is about racism, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's good for children to be learning, hey, don't be racist, I'm a pony. All in all, I still think this movie was more memorable than the latter half of the Equestria Girls, and even some of the Gen 3 stuff, so I'm gonna give this movie a 7.5. I still thought it was really, really good, especially for kids, so yeah, 7.5. That's what we're getting.
Why, the friendship games of...
This was a lot more than I anticipated, and to be fair, I am the king of procrastinating. I didn't even finish watching all the movies until like 4 days before I was supposed to finish uploading. This was still a really nice walk down memory lane. Like, I got to see some movies I've never watched before and never even heard of before, and the movies weren't bad. They all had varying levels of work and love put into them. But I can say pretty much with complete confidence, the only movie prior to Generation 4 Friendship is Magic that I got a lot of enjoyment out of was the first My Little Pony movie. I didn't find Generation 3 or 3.5 to really be memorable in any way. I feel like if I watched the show and kind of had more of a grasp on the characters and who they are and their different arcs, I probably would like it significantly more, but just based on the movies, I did not have a very good time watching them. I'm so sorry if you were a Ride or Die Twinkle Wish Adventure stan, but you just need to separate the fact that it drowned out the noises of your parents fighting in the other room, please. This is coming from someone who loves Equestria Girls, which wasn't very well liked by the My Little Pony community when it first came out, from what I saw at least. I will say, with Generation 4 and 5, they did a complete 360 on the brand brand, and I commend Hasbro for that because the characters are good and the character designs are good, especially given their track record with Generation 2. I just really wish they would have brought Minty from Generation 3 into Generation 4. I really wanted more Minty because I really liked Minty as a character. And I will say, the first My Little Pony movie from Generation 1, while being drawn out, was still fantastic and better than some of the Equestria Girls stuff. I do still have to say that Rainbow Rocks is by far my favorite My Little Pony movie. That is what I was watching to drown out the screaming in the other room too. We're on the same boat here. But I was so pleasantly surprised with how great My Little Pony the movie was that it made me contemplate if I liked it more than Rainbow Rocks. My Little Pony meant the world to me in middle school and high school. I mean, I had a pony sona or two. And as someone who takes everything pretty literally and not understanding social tone indicators, I had a lot of trouble making friends, and it really helped me understand that the way people were treating me at the time was not okay. I had a few really embarrassing moments in middle school, standing up to people who bullied me, and even my friends who made fun of me, saying that they don't understand the magic of friendship, and they're just sad and take it out on other people to make themselves feel better. Don't do that unless you want to get jumped. Me personally, I wouldn't recommend it, but all in all, I think this was a pretty great experience, and I will recommend people do it, but maybe like space it out a little. I think 12-year-old Sky would be really, really happy that I still save space in my little noggin for all of my old interests that I had in middle school and high school, and they'd probably be really happy that I went and did this experience. So anyways, I'm ponied out. I'll see y'all later. Bye.